A very warm welcome. We're here in Nashville tonight. Welcome to the NEP Summer Series presented by RSL TV. I'm Austin Belke, joined in the booth by Steve Daddio. You can see Steve Daddio, six-time race winner in NEP, also the Season 5 champion here with us tonight. He'll be on the call with me. As always, we've got Ryan Salvatore behind the cameras, turning the knobs and pushing the buttons. Last week, we were just a few miles down the road at the fairgrounds where Brent Roy took his fourth win of the season, followed by Keith Lord in the second place once again. Round 7 of the Summer Series has us in Nashville, but this week we're at the Super Speedway. Steve, what can you tell us about Nashville Super Speedway and what can drivers expect for tonight's race?
It's a concrete surface here. Excuse me. You do need to conserve those tires. It's a fast little speedway, though. For a super speedway, it feels a little small. You're on those binders into 1 and 3. Got to conserve those tires a little bit. Wrap the corner. You got to keep the momentum at the same time. Tricky is the word here. You do not want to get mired in traffic. You want that clean air. That's where the speed is. So it'll be interesting to see if these guys try to fight for that up front. I think we're in for a good show here.
Excellent job there, Steve. Yeah, this place, it's funny because last week we were at a short track that races like an intermediate, and this week we're at an intermediate track that races like a short track. Go ahead and run you folks at home through the starting order for tonight's race. Brett Roy continues his domination. He'll start on the pole almost just a little more than a half a second clear of Zane Farrell to take the pole position. So Zane will start to his outside, and then starting up behind him in third position is his 229 Motorsports teammate John Peters. John will have Keith Lord starting to his outside to round out row 2. In row 3, we've got Tim Shinoski on the inside and Corey Casagrande on the outside, followed by Jeffrey Bradway in 7th and Dan Greenlaw in 8th. Michael Douglas and Scott McDonald round out the top 10, followed by Paul Strickland Jr., Adam Henry, and Brian Ship in the 13th spot.
Yeah, it'll be
It
interesting to
always
see where these guys, what they're going to do here in the first couple laps. I'm interested. At my strategy when I have run here is kind of go for it early, get that air. But I don't know. I'm not sure what we're in store for here. Maybe these guys, they take it a little easy, save their stuff. But like I said, I think we're in for one here.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's interesting for, to see what the drivers choose. Do you want to go for it on the initial start, try to take advantage of the guys when you've got the fresh tires, or do you kind of let the track and the truck come to you, maybe bide your time for a little bit, save your stuff, see what you can do in the last maybe 10 or 20 laps of a run instead of just getting everything you can as soon as the green flag falls?
Yeah, there's no outside line here. I feel like if you get up on that outside line, I'm not sure you can make much time. Historically, you want to be on that yellow line, and if you're way back in the pack like that, I think you're fighting for some air on that left front nose. I'd be curious to see what happens here. I've been told from the race director that we might have some a different setup here in terms of power and fuel, and maybe we get a yellow there late. I don't know. Maybe we could change the strategy up a little bit, but I don't know if it was me. I'd be staying low.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take a quick look at the race analysis for tonight. Drivers had 2 laps to set their fastest lap in qualifying. That's how they're lined up right now. The race length is 60 laps. We've got 2 tire sets available in the pits. The power is at 105%, and the fuel is limited to 60%. So the pit window is down to about 32 to 35 laps. Green flag is out. We're officially underway here at Nashville Super Speedway. Very close between Brent and Zane. Let's see what driver has the advantage. A little bit of door banging as they head down into turns 1 and 2. Zane tries to fight back on the outside line. Working out decent for him, but John Peters with that inside clear advantage there to the bottom lane. Peters draws even with Zane as they head down the backstretch. Let's see where Keith Lord goes. He's going to stay tucked down to the inside, try to give a little breathing room there to Peters as they come off turn number 4. Oh, Zane in the fence a little bit. Brent Roy leads to a lap 1.
A little bit of chaos in the back there, but wouldn't you know it, Brent Roy out front again, running that high, wide, and handsome line into 1 and 2. looking really, really good as usual. He's been hot here all summer. Going to be tough to catch.
That time through turns. Whoa, Keith Lord taking out John Peters once again in turns 1 and 2. He went in, damaged his right rear quarter panel, and then in turns 3 and 4, Keith threw it in once again. Got Peters sideways. He went up the track and hit the wall. Peters very much off the pace. And the most unfortunate thing about that for him, Steve, it's on the right rear. He's going to lose a whole lot of side force in the corner. Let's ride on board now with Keith Lord right there. Gets Peters sideways, puts him up into the outside wall.
Ooh, I don't want to say uncharacteristic, but that seemed a little strange out of the 17 truck. He really drove it in deep. Did not give Peters anything to work with there. And poor John Peters pulling in the pit here. That is going to put him a lap down here. I hate to see it for him. Always clean. I feel like, he runs it strong, but tough night for him already.
Yeah, I hate to see that for John Peters, one of the strongest competitors here in NEP. And for Keith Lord as well, that's going to put Keith on the back foot here. Lost a whole lot of spots. Went from fourth, back 3 spots to now residing in the seventh position. Someone else scrapes the outside wall. And Mike Douglas can't quite say for sure.
Yeah, I think Johnny Peters got the pass repair here. He's going to jump out. Maybe a yellow will save. Love to see him back up front here.
Looks like that was Mike Douglas in the 23, just making brief contact there with the outside wall off of turn 4, just ahead of him in that 40 Bucky's machine. That's Tim Shanoski. Tim currently on the back bumper of Corey Casagrande in that 7CT truck. Those drivers trying to chase down the top 3 have broken away from the rest of the pack. Brent Roy first, Zane Farrell second, Jeff Bradway back there in the 3rd position. Looks like he's just biding his time right now. Steve doesn't want to get too close, trying to keep the air on his nose.
Yeah, it's a smart play. I mean, if you get too close, you take all that air off the nose. It's harder to turn left and chew up that right front. Don't have as much bite coming out of the corner, and here you need it. You really do. It's not a track where you sway that the rear end. You really need that right front to get through the corners. Oh, almost jumped on Brent Roy here with Jeff Bradway following close behind. We got a good battle up front.
Yeah, Zaney was going for it there as they went into turn 1. I think that's just a scenario where Zane was trying to push his luck. Maybe Brent would miss the corner, or you can spook that driver up ahead of you. Not quite the style that we usually see here, but it is something you can do if you want to try to do something a little different. Maybe you catch that guy sleeping, he sees you lunge for it, you give him the lane, and then Zane, next thing you know, would be the leader of this race, but didn't work for him that time by.
No, it certainly didn't. I think we have two different driving styles here. Zane likes to dive in it early, get there early, and then brake and cut it left. Brent, obviously, now that I'm talking about it, it does something completely different, does the same thing. But Brent, again, a very much more, he likes to swing it wide, take his time to get to that corner, fade, and then goes very tough to pass. When he's out front like that, there's just not much of it there.
Yeah, especially with this racetrack being, for the most part, a single groove, and dirty air plays a big role here. We see Zane get a run off of turn 2. He'll cut down to the inside for turns 3 and 4, and you see Brent throw the truck in there on the outside, just enough to
Oh,
clear
junks.
Zane, then make a little bit of contact,
Oh
cautions
boy.
out. I don't think anybody has any damage from that.
No, I don't think so either. I think there might be a little crinkle on the 14 and maybe something on the 26. 26 definitely showing some damage, but John Peters, the benefactor of that. We'll see what happens here. I'm not sure if there's not going to be a few words in the race chat between those two. I mean, Zane just stuck it in there, and the 26 really didn't give him a lot of room.
I don't know if he stuck
That's
it in there
curious.
per se, Steve. I think he had the lane. You know, they
Let's
were
see what we got
sideways
here.
going into turn 2, so Zane was allowed to have the bottom. I think Brent Roy just threw it in and expected to clear the 14, and you see him clear until right about there. And that's when the spotter would say truck inside, but Brent's already committed. So they make that contact. I think that's just Brent trying to be a little over aggressive to come down and clear himself, and Zane trying to be aggressive because he knows that's his shot for the lead. He needs to stick his nose in there and make sure that he stays ahead. He doesn't allow Brent to come down the track, put him in that dirty air, and take away all the advantage that Zane would have down there on the inside.
It is a single leg track, I'll say that for sure. I'll agree all day, but I don't know. I think the 26 might have pinched him there. I mean,
I
that
think he
car, that
did.
truck was on the inside line, and I don't know. I don't think the spotter had any time to really let him know he was there. But Zane again. This is a place where you need to be on that bottom line. I mean, Brent maybe could have been a little more patient if there was any critique there.
I couldn't agree more. I think if you're in Brent's position, and you feel bad going down the backstretch because you kind of, the most you can do in that situation, I think, is stick to the outside, give the guy on the inside no more room than he needs to. And then you're trying to hope that he clears you off at turn 4 and you can slot back down in line before Jeff Bradway gets an opportunity to put his nose to your inside, and then you lose 2 positions in the span of about a lap and a half. So you do have to be careful about that, but I think that might be much better than spinning out and losing a set of tires, and now you've lost a lot more track position. But it's always easier to say these things from up here off the racetrack and up in the television booth.
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing, Austin. We are up here in the booth, and we got nothing to worry about, and we're not behind the wheel, and can't make those split decisions, on the apex of the corner like that. Again, I can't fault Zane. That's his driving style. He should know this by now. We've been running together for a long time. Brent gave him an opportunity. Zane took advantage. So unfortunate for the 26, but I feel like with his track record, I feel like we're going to see him get up there pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think so too. Brent's one of those guys very good about hitting his marks. So he's back in the, looks like the 5th position right now. We'll see how long it takes him to get back up there before he's battling for the lead. Just a reminder, next week we're heading to Kern County to wrap up the NEP Summer Series. Kenny Kibbe will be joining me up in the booth, and we might see our commentator for tonight, Steve Daddio, out there on the racetrack.
Looking forward to it. Should be fun. Not a track that I'm really super familiar with, but I would love to get back out there. It's great being in the booth with you, Austin. Again, thanks to the broadcast, Sal, but itchy to get back behind that wheel.
iRacing Pace Truck makes the hard left turn down pit road, gives command of the field back over to Zane Farrell. Just about to enter the restart zone. Right there. Zane gets away. Strong start here for Zane. They're neck and neck back there for the 2nd position. Let's see if Brent Roy chooses to push Corey. Looks like he'll push him. The only other option was to make it 3 wide. Corey Casagrande has the advantage. He'll clear into the 2nd spot. Let's see if Bradway can get a run off of turn 2. He will. He'll jump to the inside to try and take it. Looks like Corey's going to back out of the throttle just a little bit, and they're neck and neck while they head through turns 3 and 4. Waiting in the wings right now, Brent Roy and Tim Shinoski. Farrell going to need another lap, his first green flag lap of the day. There you see that battle for 2nd. 3 trucks there, Steve.
Yeah, good to see Zane out front. He deserves it. He needs to lead some laps there. He's always chomping at the bit, always pushing trucks around. Good to see him out front. Got a good battle here between the 13 and the 7, who has not listened to anything that I've said him, and it seems to be working out right now. I gave him a little pre-race advice and completely ignoring it, and it's working out. So, again, good thing I'm up here in the booth and not down there on the track.
Yeah, I'd like to point out the fact that the 13 had the inside line there in turns 3 and 4 and lost the position to the 7. Looks like he lost it as well to the 26. Brent Roy does have, to your credit, Steve, a little bit of damage back there on the left rear of his truck. So, and I want to say crucially that the deciding factor in that battle between the 13 and the 7, a lap ago in turns 3 and 4, was I think the 13 overdrove the entry, and the 7 just nailed his corner, being about a lane and a half up the racetrack, and that's what led to that 7 truck taking over the second position. But right now, he's got to worry about Brent Roy just behind him. Brent did a great job to get a huge runoff for turn 2. He's going to jump to the inside, look for the position. Corey's going to block him. Blocking him all the way down the backstretch. That is something Corey will
Lucky he
do.
didn't
He has
get turned
blocked
there.
me many a time.
Yeah, lucky he did not get turned there. Did not mean to cut you off. There's a lot of speed coming out of 2 right now. I'd be curious if the track isn't changing on them. I'm not sure what the concrete surface does with all this rubber now. I would think you've got to be in it, but I think these guys are proving me wrong.
Well, I think you got to be in it for right now, but as that bottom lane rubber is up, you might want to start walking yourself up the racetrack slowly but surely. Wouldn't be too surprised. Whoa, look at Keith Ford diving it
Wow.
down in there on the 229 truck of Brent Roy. Would not be the first time we saw Keith take out a 229 machine if he were to dump Brent Roy there. But they stay clean and green so far.
Yeah, race control just told us that the 1.7 may have some tires to work with here. It's not showing up in my timing and scoring, but it sure seems like it is outside on the track here. And as I say that, he's getting past. He's got to get back up to the bottom.
He is getting past right now, but he does a much better job of cutting through the center of the corner than some other drivers. So it wouldn't surprise me too much if he's on newer tires and kind of just trying to save them for right now. You see him cut down to the inside of Brent Roy. Let's see what he does. Didn't quite get all the way up towards the wall. That's going to hurt his center corner speed. That 26 is doing a phenomenal job up there on the outside. You see Tim Shanoski just getting past there by the 20 truck if we were to look a couple truck lengths back. But this battle for second place has been, oh boy, Keith just threw it in there on Brent. Kind of forced that 26 up the track, made him lift for that position. Let's see if Brent can recover here, get himself back up through the field. This is that battle for position I was talking about between the 20 and the 40. That's Tim Shanoski up there in that 40. Bucky's truck down to the inside. That was Drew Greenlaw in the 20. He's got John Peters to his outside right now.
I'm thinking the outside line is confident through 1 and 2. I think 3 and 4, you still got to be at the bottom. There's an opportunity there. But I think that wall just comes up too quick in 3 and 4 unless maybe the outside line is just coming in. Keith Ford, again, proving me wrong. I think the line's moving up here. I think early on you wanted to be low, but I think there's some opportunity to make some moves up high, and the 1.7's doing it right now. Going by Corey Castron on the outside. A lot of action back in the field as well.
Yeah, how about that 23 and Mike Douglas in the Oreo truck to the outside of the 7CT machine? I do know he was one of the drivers, I believe, that came down pit road, so wouldn't surprise me very much that he's running the outside with the 4 fresh feel goods. You have that tire advantage. You got to go where they ain't, and Corey's religiously sticking to the bottom of the racetrack. Let's see if Brent Roy can do anything. Brent Roy shouldn't have new tires, nor should the 13 of Jeff Bradway. Let's see what they can do to pass this 7 truck. It looks like they're just being held up in that dirty air. You see him now jockeying for position just behind Corey. This is the battle for 5th position.
Yeah,
Wow, Brent doing a much better job to rotate through the center.
Go ahead, Austin.
Brent's going to clear him. See if he can try to run away. Let's see if he can catch Corey. I feel like that dirty air is going to keep these two drivers kind of fighting amongst themselves, Steve.
Yeah, Brent, he just looks so much better through the middle there. I don't know what he's doing different. I don't know. When you're hot, you're hot. Unfortunately, he's got the 13 and the 09 right on his tail, though. I wouldn't be surprised, though, to see this single out for a little bit. Again, this concrete track will chew up your stuff, and eventually you got to pick the best lane. You know, you're going to get that draft down the front and back straightaway, but once you get into the corner, you got to find that clean air. And if there's no clean air to work with, as the 26 just found, you're going to slide right up. And luckily he found that space to work with, but those fronts are going to go away. You're not going to be able to turn right through this.
Oh, Corey giving him the business back again. A little bit of push off at turn 4. Look out, John Peters. They're three wide there. They're going to stay 3 wide. Nope, back down to 2. Let's see if John can make the pass on Brent here in turns 1 and 2. And Steve, I think the crucial thing here is driving this place. Oh, look at Brent Roy sideways off of turn 2. Saw the 13 of Bradway back out of it.
Did John get tires? I know he went for the quick repair, but I don't think he got tires. He's just casually making his way through the field, which again is really not that surprising for a past champion here. But he's making it look easy, and I'm just a little surprised. You know, this is a quick spot, a quick track, and I good for him. I'm a little surprised.
Up towards the front of the field, still Zane Farrell out front. The 17 of Keith Lord and the 23 of Mike Douglas have run him down. Those are the first three drivers out there in the pack as they continue to jockey for position back in the field. Zane continues to lead. Keith Lord, he's not really making a whole lot of inroads to Zane's lead right now. I feel like that advantage he had on tires, they've kind of plateaued right now for Keith in the 23. They've really just stopped gaining time there on Zane, and they look a little even right now for the last couple laps. We'll have to keep an eye on that as the race progresses. It's of note, every driver has to pit before the end of the race.
Got 23 coming in here, looking for some four fresh. I don't know if this was scheduled or not, but it could be a call. I think we're creeping up on halfway. I think the leaders will probably come in just after, so this could be a strategy call from Mr. Mike Douglas.
Yeah, definitely. We have our keys to the race. Sal told us it's about 32 to 35 laps on a tank of fuel. So this is just about the earliest you could go if you take that shorter of the two, 60 minus 32 being 28. Looks like Zane and Keith are going to stay out there on the racetrack. It's a good idea to stay out on the racetrack if you think we'll have a caution before too long. But if you're Mike Douglas, you want this thing to go clean and green to the end, at least until you cycle up to the front. Ideally, though, this would go green to the end, so he takes, oh, he's disconnected.
I think he
Session.
disconnected. Oh, what a shame.
That's a
I wonder
shame.
what
He had
happened there.
a fantastic opportunity to undercut the two leaders,
Yep.
come out and be running around 8/10 of a second faster than these guys. So he'd go out there, get the undercut, and start pulling away from them. By the time they came off of pit road, he'd have this huge lead, and it might be just kind of setting sail for these guys, and they're going to jockey for the second position behind Mike. But unfortunately, Mike left the session, so we'll never know.
What a shame.
Surprise, no one
That
else
would
is
have been
coming down.
a fun opportunity for him. That would have been an interesting strategy call for us up in the booth. Who knows if it would have worked out, but I guess we'll never know.
You see Brian Ship there going through the grass, the 48 truck. Looks like he'll regain control of it. A little deeper in the field here, looking at Adam Henry, currently in the 9th position. He's got Tim Shinoski to his outside there, and then number 40, Bucky's Machine. Tim's been having a quiet day of it so far. I really feel like he's been trying to take care of his tires. So easy to burn up your stuff here, Steve.
Yeah, I feel like he's always good early on in the run, and then kind of fades a little bit. I mean, he's fast. I'm curious to see what the call here is, the tire thing or something else. But good to see the 40 running up in the ninth position there. I think we might have. No, we don't. I thought we had a battle for the lead there. Sorry, timing and scoring screwed me all up, but I think they kind of fanned out at the front.
Now, they certainly have. In the last couple laps, Zane has pulled away from Keith just ever so slightly every single lap, and then behind those two drivers is John Peters and his 229 teammate Brent Roy. They've been slowly but surely reeling in the competition. It's just about a half a tenth or a few hundredths of a second every lap. So slowly but surely they're making progress. I think they're just going to run out of time at this rate before they make a pit stop. So I think we are going to make some green flag pit stops here. I think everybody in the field is going to have to in a couple laps, minus Keith Moore, but I think he's going to want to come down pit road with him in order to stay on the same pit cycle. I don't think the overcut strategy is going to work out tonight.
I would. We got Brent Roy and the 7 of Corey Cosgran coming in. Tires and fuel. Let's see how this works out.
Yeah, I like this strategy call for them. Let's see how this works out. Let's see if any other drivers try to cover them. I wouldn't be too surprised to see John Peters come down this time by just to cover that off, as well as the leaders. Looks like Zane is pitting. Keith Lord's
Zane
going to stay out there on the racetrack. John Peters coming in as well. Peters does a
coming in
much better
hot.
job getting to pit road.
Oh yeah.
As long as he's not speeding, he did a much better job.
I think he got the cone though. It's always interesting. That first line kind of messes you up unless you're comfortable. You realize that that yellow cone is the one you need to be slowing down for. He got there much better than the 14 did. I would be curious to see where this goes. Hopefully, there is no pit lane issue there. Didn't seem like the way they both got in clean, but boy, John got in there much quicker than the 14 did. We'll see if their crews can get them out quicker here than
Yeah, I
the one
don't see
behind
any
them.
black flags for either driver. Zane is going to have a much better pit stop than John, so they're going to leave pit road. Let's watch these two drivers. Here's Brent Roy. This is through turns 1 and 2. And just on the inside of your screen here, you're going to see John Peters and then Zane Farrell. Let's see how fast they can. Ooh, Brent just hacking the outside wall there just a bit. It's in John Peters' best interest to hold up Brent. Not going to happen. Let's see what Zane can do. Right now he's got Brent in his dirty air.
Yeah,
Crucially, Keith
Zane's
Lord's
got the
still out on the
advantage here.
racetrack. Yeah, he's got clean air, he's got fresher tires, so unfortunately, while Brent Roy's undercut did gain him time, it didn't give him the position over Zane Farrell. However, I really do believe it's going to over Keith Lord because Keith, Brian Shipp, and Adam Henry still out there on the racetrack trying to hunt down a caution.
I don't know if that's the strategy here. I'd love to see those three come in, get the fourth crash, and get back out. It's too spaced out right now. If there were more cars on the track, sure, that's a good gamble. But this isn't a short track. It is at the end of the day a super speedway.
Well,
Brent Roy
Brent jumped
underneath
to
the
the
14.
inside of Zane.
14 there. I was holding my breath, excuse me there. But yeah, I don't know if that caution's coming.
No, I don't think it is, especially with the limited field size we have here tonight. If this is a full field in NEP terms, about 30 or 40 race trucks, we might have that caution just because this place is, like I said, an intermediate track that races like a short track. Lots of different ideas and lines and opinions for drivers to enter and exit the corner. That is going to cause some wrecks sometimes, but with a limited field like this, not usually going to happen as Keith Lord now was leading the race, jumps down to pit road. Ooh, Zane Farrell with a big run down the backstretch, pushing Brent into the corner. Try to go to the inside. Brent's going to cover him. Zane is pushing him into the corner right now, moves him up the track. They're side by side as they come off of turn 4. These guys can't battle too long because John Peters is just behind them, waiting in the wings. Brent's going to get a big run off of turn 4. Let's see where he can take it.
This could be the move, though. The 14 ultra aggressive. Can't hold the line down low. It's not over yet, though. Here we go. Here we go. 14 down below the 26. We got some lap traffic coming up again. Excuse me, that's the 17. That's the Keith. That's Keith Lord. We got a battle on our hands here.
Yeah, if Keith can hold on to this track position, he's got the freshest tires out of all 4 of these drivers. Brent's looking for the lead. He's going to look down low. All Keith has to... Whoa, Brent got a little bit loose there on the transition from the apron to the racetrack. Let's see if Keith can hold on to the high line. He is. See if he can make the 26 loose. Oh, they're door banging as they come off the corner.
Just
No love
jumps him
lost
for
between
fun.
the two drivers. They're sideways down the backstretch. Oh, Brent
Oh,
Roy tags
no!
Dave Farrell. He'll go
Oh,
for a spin.
No.
No caution yet.
Not yet. But there could be. There it is. There it is. Yeah, kind of
Wow.
clean. And you got debris down the back stretch. There's grass all over the place. That's a good call by the race director there. We got to get this cleaned up and chipped up.
Man, that just went worse and worse and worse for Brent and Zane. And I wouldn't be too surprised if Keith didn't have some damage on the 17 truck. And I think once again, old JP, big winner and all that. Oh, you see the 17 in the infield there. So he definitely got a bigger piece of that.
My goodness.
Let's go a little bit further back if we can, Sal. I'd like to see this develop. This started, all the way back in turn 1 and 2, where Keith is on the outside of Brent Roy. He's going to hold firm. You see Brent throttle up on the exit of the corner to get a big run, and Keith isn't having any of it. He holds his line, and because Brent Roy has the advantages and is opening up the wheel, he effectively right rears himself off the front end of Keith Lord's truck and then noses into the wall. And Keith, of course, the best thing you can do in that situation continue the right rearing, spin that guy into the fence, and then you saw Brent have a big tank slapper. Nothing he could do there to make sure he didn't hit the 14 of Zane Farrell. This is riding on board with Zane. You see him make contact. Zane does the right thing here, goes down to the bottom of the track, but unfortunately can't get low enough fast enough and gets right reared by Brent Roy.
Knocks the rear end off that truck. That's a shame. He's gonna have to come in, get a quick repair. And I'm looking at timing and scoring, and I'm not sure exactly what's going on here, but I think that puts Zane, Roy, Lord right out of it. That they're a lap down at this point. I don't know that they can get back at this point. So
Yeah.
that their selfishness kind of hurt them a little bit, a lot of bit. What a shame.
Yeah, still curious as to why they're a lap down. The only thing I can figure is because Brian Ship and Adam Henry hadn't yet pit. And
They
when
were
those
out
two
there. Yep.
drivers wrecked,
Hmm.
in the ensuing caution, Brian Ship and Adam Henry came around and passed them while they were wrecking down the backstretch, and that's what put them a lap down and why John Peters is on the lead lap.
Again, I don't know what the crew chiefs were saying at the top of the box there. We got to be smarter, We got to wait for the cycle before we start going with the argy bargy and spinning people and putting your nose where it doesn't belong. That's a race ruiner, and that's unfortunate for both of them.
Yeah, right now Corey Casagrande's got to be licking his chops because he'll be the big leader of the points when we leave this week. And I can confirm it looks like at the time of the caution, the reason that Zane and Brent are a lap down is because, yeah, the 48 truck came by and passed them, as did Adam Henry and Tim Shinoski. So that's why those drivers
Wow.
are a lap down when you think they shouldn't be. Now, we said John Peters was the big winner in that altercation down the backstretch in terms of the four trucks involved. However, he has much older tires than the 48 and the 62 truck. Let's see if they can do anything to challenge him. Don't know how old the tires are on the 7CT machine.
I
Okay,
I
looks like they're
would.
one lap more used than Peters. So Peters, of the front row, Peters has the better tires, but in that second row, that's where the freshest tires are in the field. iRacing pace truck back down pit road. And when we go green, we'll have 16 laps to go.
My eyes are on the yellow 48 truck here. The 62 truck, excuse me, because at USA we saw some fireworks. If he's got some pressure tires, he is not afraid to use that front bumper. So I'd be curious to see if he can get out front here. Uh, Looking forward to the last 16 laps. Let's see what they can do.
Amen, Steve. The 7CT machine and Corey Casagrande choosing to push the 48 truck down the backstretch. 62 looking to the outside of the 7, not making anything of it. He's side by side right now with Zane Farrell still. 48 just tagging the outside wall. Let's see how far John Peters can drive away from the field while they continue to jockey for position. As I mentioned, he's got some of the oldest tires right now out there on the racetrack. Doesn't look like Ship's able to do a whole lot. And the reason I say that is Corey continues to gain ground on him. Just behind those two drivers, though, 62 of Adam Henry. That's the yellow number, the yellow truck with the blue 62 numbers. He's fighting with the 14 of Zane Farrell. Curious how much speed Zane might have lost in that altercation, unless he took his fast repair. I do think he did. Yeah, he's
Yeah, I
got a
think
rear
he's got a
fascia on
clean
that truck.
nose. Yep. Clean nose, clean rear. He's all good to go. I think the sevens again chomping at the bit to get up there, just not running his best race tonight. As the 62 looks low here, getting that preferred line if he can hold it. Yeah, and the 7 slips up there. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they run to the end there. It's good to see the 48 and 62 get some TV time up front. These guys deserve it. They're there every week. They put their time in, and they're running well right now.
Yeah, 13 laps to go this time by. You saw Adam Henry clear himself into the third position. Let's see if he can track down Brian Ship. Ideally, those two drivers would work together before they catch John Peters, but I think it's a lot to ask him of that. Whoa, as you see, Brian Ship just got a little bit too low in the
Really?
corner.
Yeah.
Just
Really
kind of
got in there
swapping
too.
ends
Yeah,
there
too
almost.
deep. Yep. Yeah, 62 tried to take advantage, but just again got up in the wash there, could not turn left.
So hopefully the 48 truck learned his lesson there. They continue going in the right direction, but you can see half a second behind John Peters. They are gaining ground little by little. I just don't quite know if it's going to be enough. You saw the 48 do the exact same thing again, got too close to the apron, forced himself back up the racetrack. This battle you see on the screen there, that was between, I want to say, Pooter and Dan Greenlaw. So Scott McDonald back there. This is for the sixth position.
Yeah, looking a little racy there. The 20 cars. Really, it's good to see him out here running a good line, pushing Scotty Mack around. Again, Scotty Mack, a longtime regular here, is having a good night. Nothing to sneeze at. Running the right line. I think I think you should be happy with his sixth place finish.
Oh, down the front stretch, off of turn four, Adam Henry just barely got in the wall. That's going to allow Corey Casagrande in the seven to jump down to his inside. Let's see if Adam can fight back around the outside. Looks like he's making a strong run off the corner, but crucially down the backstretch, he'll have the momentum. He's going to clear himself now into the third position. You see that 48 truck continues to get closer and closer to the '09 of John Peters. It's just he's got a long way to go, and he's got 9 laps to get there. I don't see him getting there for right now.
I don't know if he's got it. He's going to need some help here, from himself and the guys behind him, just pushing him a little bit. Seems to be sending it a little harder, which is what you got to do right now. You got nothing to lose. You got to push. I would be curious to see if he moves around a little bit, maybe check that high side again. Wherever the air is, that's where you need to be. And I think he's doing the best he can. It is hard with JP '09 out front.
Yeah, real difficult that time by gains. Oh, a little over 2/10 of a second. And Steve, it's interesting right now that you say you have to enter the corner aggressive and get everything that you can. But I truly think the way to gain speed at this track is to enter like a lamb and come out like a lion. And with your fresh tires, you want to enter as hard as you can, but you got to make sure you get that truck slowed down just before the apex of the corner so you can get back onto the throttle. Crucially, it looks like John's tires are starting to get a little bit hotter and hotter, increasingly so compared to the two behind him. That time by, they gain another half a second. They're just not quite opening up the entrance to the corner. I think that's going to hurt them a little bit as well compared to John Peters.
Yeah, and in any other circumstance, I would completely agree. But right now, if you got four press, you got to go. You got to dig, 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 and take every tenth you can away. Even if you wash up, it seems like the outside's rolling a little bit. The 62 right behind the 48, they are moving. And I think if we had a little bit more time here, I think maybe they could get up to them. What do we got here? 5, 6 left.
Yeah, that time by, it was 6 laps to go. That time by, they
Yeah.
gained another 100th on John Peters. They're just going to run out of time unless they really start to make a concentrated effort to both go at him at the same time. See a little bit lower entrance there for the 48. That's going to gain him a lot of time on corner entry. Let's see how it works on corner exit. JP doing a much better job off the corner. This time by at the line.
Yeah, JP's
And they
running a
lost the
long.
whole
Yeah,
tenth of
yeah.
a second there. Again, I
JP.
think that's just the corner exit.
Yeah, JP's running a long run line and they're running a short run line. And yeah, the 48's going to pay for it right here. The 62 might be a little bit better than the 48, but I think you're right. I think in the grand scheme here, I think the '09 he's set sail. He's not looking back. He knows what he needs to do. Running lean, mean, and clean. And again, hard to beat. Unfortunately, I'm not interviewing him. I'm not interviewing him. Not doing it.
4 laps to go this time by Adam Henry. 6 1/4 tenths of a second back. We'll see what he can do now that he's got the cleaner air compared to he and Brian Shipp. But John Peters, right now, he can just keep his eyes out the windshield of that truck, out of the mirror. He should be able to just hold the lead. He doesn't need to pull away right now. He just needs to run some clean laps here, be consistent, and this should be his. 3 laps to go this time by. Adam Henry took 2/10 of a second out of the lead. If he continues to do that, he's going to get right there at the right time. Maybe we'll see a mad dash off of turn 4 to the finish.
Yeah, I think so. That 62 has been strong in the last 10 to 15 laps. He's putting them down picking him up, and I think the '09 should now be looking in his rear view. I'm a little surprised. I kind of thought he'd be wearing his stuff off, just sitting behind that slipstream between the '09 and the '48. But again, proving me wrong here. Let's go 62. Let's see what he can do in the final two.
That time by, you gain another tenth of a second. 2 laps to go as we ride on board of him right now. You can see that's the '09 truck just ahead. You see Adam Henry just mirroring whatever John is doing, looking ever so slightly for that clean air as they enter the corner. I like this line he has, sends it into turn 3 and 4. Ooh, just a little bit bouncing off the apron there. Turns 1 and 2, he nailed it. Turns 3 and 4, the last lap, he nailed that as well. This time at the line, you can see the gap on your screen. It's just about 3/10 of a second, little over that. Final lap, 1 lap to go. John Peters, I'm sure he's got to be looking at his rear view right now, but it's going to take a monumental run off of turn 2 to give him the power into turn 3 to go ahead and make a move. I think he's too far back. He's going to try,
Yeah,
though.
I'd say so. Yeah,
Doesn't
unfortunately
matter.
here.
Off turn
Yeah,
4, John Peters spins earlier in the race off the front bumper of Keith Ford. He'll come back to win here at Nashville Super Speedway.
who would have called that, huh? JP falling all the way back, had a little bit of damage, and then drove right back through the field. Again, I'd say this track suits him, but every track does. He's very good on this sim racing circuit, and good for him. Good for Johnny getting his win after that unfortunate accident early on.
We're going to take a quick break. You're going to see a couple of highlights, and we come back. We're going to talk to John. We're going to talk to Adam, and then we'll wrap up the show. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Nashville Super Speedway. Austin Pelkey, Steve Daddy on the call. As always, we've got Ryan Salvatore in the booth. A quick look at the race results. John Peters, your big winner. It's his first win of the season. Hard to believe. Race 7. And John Peters' first time finding victory lane here tonight. Second place, Adam Henry. So close. You see just there, under 2/10 of a second. If we had a couple more laps, no doubt in my mind, I think Henry would have gotten him. Brian Chip, a valiant effort there in the 43 truck. Corey Casagrande in fourth. Tim Shanoski, a nice top 5 there for Tim. Drew Greenlaw, new guy, newcomer here for NEP. He finishes sixth. Scott McDonald, strong seventh place for Scott. Did what he had to do all night. How about Paul Strickland Jr.? Eighth place. Zane Farrell, strong race for him. He led for a majority of the night, had one of the strongest trucks. He'll come home in the ninth position. Brent Roy rounds out the top 10. Then you got Jeff Bradway in 11th, Keith Lord in 12th, and what could have been for Mike Douglas. He was the first truck to come down pit road to make a green flag pit stop. If he could have executed that well, I think the race might have also been his to claim as well. Certainly a lot of guys have in their hand on the trophy tonight. Go ahead and see if we can't grab John Peters. There he is. Go ahead and bring him up here. There we go. John Peters, big winner here tonight. John, first couple laps of the race, you get into it with Keith Orr, I should say. He gets into your rear bumper. You go spinning off the front of him. Did you think your race was done?
Hey, Austin, I sure did. I really didn't expect that. It was a tad bizarre. Not quite a way I would have drawn up starting this race tonight. I did think I was dead until my teammate Brent Roy reminded me we have a fast repair. Shout out RSAL and the NEP Summer Series for having a fast repair. So I just bit the bullet, came down pit road, got the quick repair, and then thankfully got a caution. Lucky dog, right back in the game. So you never know. That's why you keep fighting, Austin.
Yeah, amen to that. We thought you were out of it too. As soon as I saw you get that right rear damage from the first time Keith made contact with you, I pretty much wrote you off because at that point you're going to lose a whole lot of side force. And even though we might complain about these trucks being tight, it's going to loosen you up way more than you want to. So thankfully, you were able to come down pit road, get the faster pair, and then get the lucky dog. Walk me through off of turn two with about 20 or so laps to go. Calamity unfolded in front of you. You saw the whole thing, went down to the bottom of the racetrack, and just drove right by it all. What was going on in your mind when you looked up? And I'm sure you saw in your mirror the three trucks you were battling with for the lead, just kind of wrecking, from lack of a better word.
It did. My spidey senses were tingling. We all were coming out in the wash beautifully after the pit stops, which was really fun. And then I realized we were nose to tail, all four of us, and it was Keith, Zane, Brent in front of me. And when you put those ingredients in a pot, normally something's going to boil on the other side. So I kind of made a decision right there. All right, I'm just gonna ride behind Zane. I'm gonna try to save a little tire, stay out of his wake. And it only took them about a lap to all kill each other. So I was ready for it. Was able to lift ahead of time, kind of see him get close, and then just swerved, barely in time and got by it all, and felt pretty good about that. And then I'll tell you what though, I think Adam Henry and Brian Ship had a tire advantage at the end of the race, and I thought I was saving some tires, and they were legitimately hunting me down. So that was interesting. Spidey senses got tingling again. I'll tell you that. So I'm glad we could hang on.
Yeah, I was just about to ask how you felt with Adam Henry and Brian Chip coming up behind you. But, John, before we let you go, just give you a brief moment. The floor is yours. Thank everybody who makes it possible for this '09 truck to get to and from the racetrack.
Yeah, I want to thank Keith Lord tonight for teaching me perseverance and for showing me how to stick through it. Appreciate him. Thanks to our Sal for putting on the summer series. Thanks to you, Austin, for doing these broadcasts. It's been a blast to do a couple with you. Thanks to I don't think we had a sponsor tonight. If we did, I apologize. Thanks to that sponsor if they exist. Thanks to my mom for watching. She always watches every race. Watch tonight too. Uh, and appreciate my wife and my dogs for letting me do this. It's not the regular season, so when we're eating dinner and I'm like, "Hey, I've got a race tonight," I can't say points are on the line. I can only say I'm gonna go do that, and she's like, "You go do that." So I appreciate that support.
All good. John, once again, congratulations. As always, thank you for your time. Big winner here tonight, John Peters in the '09.
Thanks, guys.
Now, I believe Steve is standing by with Adam Henry. Adam finished in the second place tonight. Steve, take it away.
And what a run for you in that yellow 62. The late race there, running them down, got by the 48. Looked like you had and a little bit of advantage there, closing up on the '09. What did you need at the end of the race there to go catch him?
So this whole race was a disaster on my end. I was having PC issues. I had to do an install on iRacing. I didn't get home until late, and then my Discord wouldn't work. So I had no audio. I wasn't talking to anyone. I was just racing my own race. Um, but I seen like everyone was pitting, and I'm like, this night's already kind of going bad. I'm just gonna hang it out and stay with Ship out on the lead lap and hope for a caution. And in my favor, it worked out.
Yeah,
Um,
you certainly did get it. You certainly did get an opportunity there. It looked like the front runners kind of messed it all up there on the backstretch, but that was a great call. That's the what you got to do if you are not having the best night. PC issues or what have you. But it all seemed to work out.
Yeah, it definitely did. I wish with like the last caution, that restart to go, I wish I drove a little harder. I know I was on fresh tires. I just didn't know how much I could dig before the tires started burning up. So I kind of took it easy. And then once I got around Brian Ship for the second spot, I started getting on it a little harder. And now that I'm looking back, I think I could have got on it a little bit more and maybe had a chance to fight Peters for the win. I'm not too sure though. I mean, that's just something that I'm going to always replay in my head. But it was nice to finish second at least.
Yeah, no, that was a strong run. I mean, from up in the booth, it looked like you were having a lot of fun out there. It was awesome getting to watch you run the '09 down a little bit. I wish we had a few more laps to see what you could have done, but In the interest of time, I think we got to get out of here. What gets you and the truck to the track here for in terms of sponsorship?
Definitely Griff's Tire Service. They help me a lot, and so does Rapid Custom Racing Wraps. Those two guys help me out for sure. Definitely on the racetrack and off the racetrack.
All right. Well, it was excellent seeing you out there, Adam. It was a lot of fun tonight. Good luck in the next race. We'll see you at Kern County.
Thank you.
That was Adam Henry, finished second here tonight. Just as Steve just said there, we're heading to Kern County next week for round 8 of the Summer Series. That's the last race. I'll be joined in the booth by Kenny Kibbe. As always, we've been swapping out the color commentators, so nice to have Kenny back up in the booth. But Steve, man, it's been an absolute pleasure. On behalf of myself, Austin Belke, my booth mate, Steve Daddio, and our director, Ryan Salvatore, thank you so much for watching, and good night.